So I've been asked today to talk about growth. And I want to just take a step back and say that I'm so honored to be in the presence of all of you. I work with many of you to bring all of your awesome, engaging, and addictive games to Facebook and put them in front of hundreds of millions of people. So I've been asked to talk about growth, and I want to talk about growth across three major areas. The first is new genres, the second is new regions, and the third is on new platforms. But before I talk about these three areas of growth, I want to take a moment and talk about 5 companies who are big, really big, on our platform today that weren't just 1 year ago. So let's start off by talking about King.com. King.com, European developer who has grown to our number 2 developer right behind Zynga in less than 1 year. Really impressive growth from these guys. One of their hit games, Bubble Witch Saga, went from 0 users in September of 2011 to 3.5 monthly active users just 1 month later. Really impressive success. Next, I want to talk about Peak Games. This is a games publisher out of Turkey. They have also ascended into our top 10 developer list this year. I'm going to talk a little bit more about them when I talk about the regional growth opportunities. Cook Apps. This is a great company from South Korea, another international developer who's made it big. They had, late last year, 75,000 daily active users, and today they have 1.5 million daily active users, actually. Next up, we have Fresh Planet. Fresh Planet produced 3 great games on Facebook, and then they produced a 4th, and the 4th was Song Pop. Tremendous success with this title. Founder Matthew attributes his success to a number of things, including Facebook, and he'll be speaking tomorrow about how to use Facebook to grow your mobile apps, along with our Apps and Games product manager, Matt Window. They'll be speaking at 10 a.m. I definitely encourage you to go see that talk. And finally, we can't talk about games companies who made it big in the past year without talking about indie darling OMG Pop. They went from small startup to seemingly overnight success story with an acquisition from Zynga of hundreds of millions of dollars, all from the success of their game, Draw Something. So it's not just the big companies who are having awesome success and growth on Facebook. In fact, we have more games and more gamers than ever before. We have more than 130 games, variety, diverse titles that have more than 1 million monthly active users. It's amazing scale when you think about 130 titles that have over 1 million monthly active users. So now let's talk about growth. But first, I want to talk about genres. And I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about 3 genres where we've seen tremendous growth over the past year. The first of which is hidden object. So last year, our director of games partnerships, Sean Ryan, issued a bit of a challenge to this crowd, and he told you that we had 2 hidden object games. Today, we have a diverse array across a number of themes, high production value, high quality hidden object games. And none other than Playdom and Disney are leading the pack. They have Blackwood and Bell Mysteries, they have Disney Animal Kingdom Explorer, and Ghosts of Mistwood. We also see romance being brought into the hidden object category with Jane Austen's Rogues and Romances, published by 6 Waves and BBC. We have Making Fun with Hidden Haunts. And we have games like House MD from Ubisoft that are using the hidden object mechanic within their broader games to engage their audience. The next category that's absolutely had a boom over the past year has been casual and arcade. A fun stat for you, we have 75 million monthly active users who are playing bubble shooters. 75 million monthly active users who are playing bubble shooters. It's impressive. We have Candy Crush Saga from King.com with 13 million monthly active users. We have Jetpack Joyride, which is a great iOS title, made it big, brought their game to web using Facebook, launched in May and still growing. That's from an Australian company, Half Brick Studios. We have Collapsed Glass from Gamehouse, Real Networks. You just saw Matt Hewlett talk. This is a great, iconic Match 3 title. They're using our scores and achievements to acquire users and re-engage users. They're also going to be launching their iOS version soon and using Facebook to connect those two experiences. We have Panda Jam, which Chris embarrassingly told you was one of my favorite games right now. Great Match 3 from SGN. They're switching up the mechanics slightly and launched just a few months ago and is already rapidly approaching 1 million monthly active users. We have Diamond Dash, which is an awesome success story from European developer Wooga. Great example of a game truly going cross-platform. They launched first on the web, then on iOS, and they just announced today that they'll be launching this title on Android as well. At their peak, they had 20 million monthly active users. Finally, in this space, we have a game that's twisting it a little bit. We have a synchronous player versus player element added into the casual arcade space with Crazy Penguin Wars by Digital Chocolate. This game launched just 2 weeks ago and is already over 500,000 monthly active users. We've had a tremendous investment in the casino and bingo space over the past year. We have Double Down Casino that was acquired by IGT. They're a local company. Glenn Walcott will be talking later on today about how to grow your company into a $500 million company. We have Playtika, acquired by Caesars Entertainment. We have Jackpot Joy Slots out of Europe. We have Best Casino, again, another great example of taking a game truly cross-platform and using Facebook to fuel the growth around that. They're also on the web, iOS, and Android. We have Ludia, who are bringing brands into this space with the Price is Right slots. And finally, Buffalo Studios with Bingo Blitz, who also will be launching their iPad app soon, but has seen tremendous growth on Facebook. Now I want to talk about new genres for growth. So we've seen areas that have grown, but now let's talk about where I think there's opportunity. The first, and we've talked about this before, is with sports. We have Top 11 by Nordeus, Eastern European company, great success story about a year and a half ago. They continue to grow with things like the Euro Cup. Their game just grows. They have this high engagement with their user. We're also starting to see games that are launching in baseball and racing. We have a baseball game called Baseball Heroes out of South Korea, just doing awesome things. Kart World, again from an Australian company, really engaging that sports audience on Facebook. So I think there's a tremendous opportunity here to really engage sports fans on Facebook with high-quality sports games. Casual turn-based. Everyone knows the success stories of Draw Something and Song Pop. These are inherently social games. It's a turn-based. It's just enhanced by having your friend on the other side. It's really intimate feeling. They're pretty lightweight games. I really have a challenge for you all on who's going to be the next Song Pop. Core. With the improvements in 3D technology and the hyper-accessibility of our platform, we really think that Core is poised for growth. Kixeye is the clear leader in this space. In fact, with the recent launch of our App Center, their game War Commander has already reported that they're seeing higher average revenue per user coming from App Center traffic. Just speaking to the ability to really discover these niche style of games through the Facebook App Center. We have Citizen Grim, which Chris told you is another one of my favorite games. This is a great zombie apocalypse, crazy core kind of game. It has some really interesting monetization tactics, as well as some really cool social hooks. So definitely check this one out. We have Total Domination from Plarium. This is a title that's been on Facebook for some time, but continues to maintain its core base and continue to do extremely well. We also have announcements of new core games that will be hitting later this year. We have Robot Rising from Tencent, as well as the highly anticipated 3D game launching later this fall from Kixeye. So we've talked about new genres and now I want to talk about new geographies. I don't have to tell this crowd that in order to be successful, you have to think globally. But I do want to point out that there are a few ways to think about how to go global. And I'm going to talk about two. I think the first way to go global is to take your game that's successful, that you've launched in English, and localize it in as many languages as makes sense for you. We see some of our blockbuster titles that launch and localize in as many as 14 languages. If you don't have the resources to do 14, we see that eFigs plus Turkish plus Brazilian Portuguese are really the standard languages to localize in. The second opportunity is really to think about the regional opportunity for games. For example, How's That Cricket is the #2 game in India and Pakistan. Football games do extremely well in Europe. So we've always hypothesized that regional developers will be able to speak the most authentically to their audiences and build really great regional successes. But I also want to tell you another story. So this is a game called Happy Farm. It's a title that's been around for a while. It's developed by a Chinese developer, 5 Minutes. They take the game, they localize it, and they localize it into Arabic. And they really localize the game, not just translate, but localize it in a way that speaks authentically to the Arab market. They then publish it with Turkish publisher Peak Games. And they have a massive hit in the Arabic market. This is by far and away the #1 game in the Arabic-speaking world. It quickly gets to 9 million monthly active users. So again, to recap, Chinese developer, Turkish publisher, massive hit in the Arab market. So there's a huge opportunity here to have a hit in a regional area. I think there are 3 key places to think about when you think about regions for growth. The first is Japan, which is an obvious mobile play. The second is South Korea, where we have a culture of gamers. And then the third is Brazil, with increased accessibility to internet, as well as rapid adoption of smartphones. So now I want to talk about new platforms. Matt Window is going to talk quite a bit about how to use Facebook to grow your mobile games tomorrow, but I do want to just say that we hear quite frequently, should I build a game for Facebook, or should I build a native mobile app? And the answer is not that it's an and/or question, it's an and. You should build your games on whatever platform makes the most sense for you. And then you should use Facebook as a growth engine. It fuels your growth, it gets you distribution, and it gets you re-engagement. In fact, we see that 7 out of 10 of the top games on both the Google Play as well as the Apple iOS store, 7 out of 10 of those games are using Facebook. So it's not just about getting on these top 10 lists. What you're really looking for is you're looking for users who are highly valuable, and you're looking for users who are highly engaged. And I want to talk about 2 companies who are doing just that using Facebook. The first is Ludia with their mobile game, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? They see that 50% of their users are logging in with Facebook, but 70% of their revenue is coming from users who are logged in with Facebook. We have Bingo Bash by BitRhymes, again, using Facebook login, using our social channels to re-engage their users. They see that their Facebook users play 30% longer than other users, and they play 65% more sessions. What's more, these users are, on average, spend 80% more than users who are not logged in with Facebook. 80% more. So in summary, I think that there are awesome opportunities for growth in social games across 3 major areas. The first is across new genres, the second is new regions, and the third is new platforms. And the thing that connects them all is Facebook. Thanks very much for having me here today.